Radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, hello, welcome to the Real Talk with Judy Radio, live radio broadcast. I'm not Dr. Judy. I'm the host. She's the host of this great informative podcast. Actually, I'm her husband, the one and only Superintendent Gerald Mandrell. There she is. You can see that she's on live with us, but she has laryngitis and not able to talk at the moment. But I want to thank you all for joining in with us and this beautiful Tuesday, which is Election Day. All of the listeners, we want to thank you for your unwavering support. Voting is, as we have said, that this is Election Day. Voting is your fundamental right and power. And every time you cast a vote, you're choosing who represents your community, representing your concern, as well as representing your future, your vision for the future. So you might wonder, what is if the person I voted for doesn't win? Did I waste my vote? I'm here to let you know, not at all, not at all. But by showing up, you ensure your perspective is recorded, your community is counted, as well as your values are clearly spoken. Win or lose, participating is how we set the standard and hold every elected official accountable. So one question that may arise is, why does my vote in local and county elections actually matter more than the presidential election? Well, simply because family and national politics actually makes the headlines, but local elections dictate your daily life. The people sitting on the school board, the city commission, the county commission, they decide your property taxes, your school safety policies, your road permits, your road repairs, public safety budgets, and local business grants. National leaders, they don't fix the pothole on your street, nor do they decide the curriculum in your child's classroom. Local leaders do. So if you don't vote locally, you're letting someone else write the rules for your front yard. So another question is, what if I feel like both candidates aren't perfect and don't represent everything I stand for? Well, the real talk answer is, voting is not a marriage proposal. It's a public job interview. You're not looking for a savior. You're hiring a contractor to execute a job for your community. And if you wait for a perfect candidate, you will still sit on the sidelines forever. So you want to look at the blueprints, inspect their track records, who align themselves closest with your values and safety, and how the person who would do the work. Remember, silence is a signed agreement with whoever wins. Another question is, what physical identification do I need to bring with me when I go to vote in person? The real talk answer is, keep it simple and be prepared. By law, you must present a current and valid photo and signature ID. Florida's driver's license, make sure that it's updated and current. The state ID card, a passport, or a military ID works perfectly. If your photo ID doesn't have your signature on it, just bring a secondary card that does, like a debit card or a credit card with your signature. Don't let a missing ID stand between you and your power. Make sure you exercise your right to vote and make sure that you register in time so that you're able to vote. So, what's the difference between the primary election and the general election? The real talk answer is simply the primary election is where the choices are narrowed down. And in many local nonpartisan races, like the school board seats or judicial races, the primary is the final decision. Hear that? The primary is the final decision. And if you skip the primary election, you're letting a tiny fraction of the community pick who makes it to the final stage or win the seat outright without your voice being heard. You have to play in both halves of the game if you want to win. Notice it said you have to play in both halves of the game if you want to win. So this question says, so how do I research what's on my ballot before I step inside the voting booth? The real talk answer is never walk into the booth guessing. Never walk into the booth guessing. You can go directly to your local supervisor elections website and you can pull up your sample ballot. Make sure that you sit down at your kitchen table or at your dinner table and look at every candidate and every referendum. Write down your choices or bring a sample ballot with you and step into that voting booth and with total confidence and precision. Preparation is the key to power. Make sure that you study your electors and that you know what they're standing for, that you know what their values are, when you want their values to align with your values. So the day will continue. Yeah, we will continue even yet looking at the voting process, and we want to make sure that everyone is qualified. Voting is important. When you refuse to vote, you are actually giving somebody else permission to make decisions on your behalf, which may not necessarily be your desire, but your lack of participation actually empower others whose agenda may be self-serving. You want someone that would serve your interests, that would look out for you, what's important to you. Make sure that person is aligning with you. They don't necessarily have to look like you, but you want someone that would represent you, someone that would speak what you would speak, that would care for what you would care for. So that's why voting is important. In the United States, that's an important issue that we have is voting and voting rights. And as you look, even yet over the last few months, voting rights have been challenged. And we want to make sure that everyone, if you're a citizen in the United States, you have your constitutional right to be able to vote and participate in the voting process. That's how we elect our legislators. And that's how we fire our legislators, by voting for others that would actually be there to help us. So voting is crucial, is important. Make sure that you register, and that's another issue, that you register on time. They have made some changes and adjustments to the registration process. So you want to make sure that your registration is current, that you are participating in the voting process. Go, as I said, go to the supervisor election website, study the candidates, make sure that they are someone that will represent you, someone that will represent your values. Uh, don't just take everything face value. And be careful about who you're listening to, because a lot of people have disinformation, and disinformation can be just as dangerous as the right information. So make sure that you study the person yourself, uh, even if you just can go to them and talk to them and find out where their heart, why they make the decisions that they make, why they have done the things that they have done. What do they stand for? You want their values to align with your values. So make sure that you are doing that, and that you're living, that you're choosing that person according to your interests. So that is important. That is important. So you got to make sure that you do that even with your candidates. A lot of them, of course, people have popularity, so don't vote for someone just because they're popular, because they may be influenced by other outside influencers. You want to. This is our local election. This is our local election, and even as we move from past our local election and moving into our general election, the same thing goes even yet for those candidates. You may not necessarily see them face to face, but study, even those that have already been elected, study their voting record, study and look at what they have stood for and what they have fought for. Because when you look at it, a lot of people are influenced by finances. Finances. So you don't really want someone who's bought by money because they're going to vote for the side that give them the most money. We want someone that will represent our interests, because at the local level, that's what matters. We're the ones that have to comply with the law and for the things that the decisions that they make. So let's make sure that we're doing that, that we're looking, that we're studying, that we're investigating as much as possible those individual candidates, so that we can make the right and sound decision. As I said earlier, voting is important. Voting is important. And your lack of voting is giving someone else permission that may not necessarily express your values. You're giving them permission to make decisions for you, which may not necessarily be according to your liking or your desires. So it's important that you vote, that you vote, and go and find someone and go and search out our candidates to make sure that they represent you. Uh, so voting, as I said again, is a important process. Even we see it. Uh, yeah, yeah. As I said, it's not a marriage proposal. It's not. It's not a marriage proposal. It's a public job interview. It is a public job interview. So uh, you're not looking for a savior. It said you're looking for a contractor. A contractor is someone that you hire to do a specific job for you. You hire a contractor to do a specific job for you. And if that person is not doing that job for you, in the next election term, then you fire them by voting for another candidate. So you would not find a perfect candidate. You will not find a perfect candidate. And when you're looking at perfect candidate, you're looking for someone that's just going to do everything that you desire for them to do. You have to understand they have different things that influence their decisions. Just in the same sense as my employment as a pharmacist, I just can't satisfy someone with medication just by giving it to them, especially if I know that the value of the medication is not going to work to provide the adequate health for the people. So in the same sense, sometimes medicine don't taste good, but if you allow it to work, it'll work for your good. So in the same sense, your candidate may not necessarily do something that's actually pleasing or popular to everybody at that particular moment. But if you give them a chance to work and to work the agenda, you'll see that it's going to work together for your good. So, as we said, there's no perfect candidate. There's no perfect candidate. If you were looking for that perfect candidate, this is that you'll be sitting on the sideline for a long, long, long time, and you'll never participate in the process. So you want to look at their record, their blueprint. You want to look at their involvement with community and community affairs, because if they're not involved with the community affairs, how can they represent you? Just think about it. If they don't know, if they're not involved with the community, how can they adequately legislate the community? They need to know what's going on, what your neighbors' concerns are, what their values are, and then not just in one neighborhood, but even in the various neighborhoods. And that becomes a different issue because we have different neighborhoods, and they're trying to force their will on the other neighborhoods. But the neighborhoods is based upon the people that live within that particular neighborhood. And so therefore you have to be able to talk and communicate. Communication is an important thing. If you don't communicate, you cannot assume that somebody know what your interests are. You cannot assume that they know what your values are. So therefore, even after your candidate wins, you want to communicate with them. Don't just hire them for the job and leave them in their particular office or their particular position or their prospective place. But you want to make sure that you keep your communication with them, that they have understanding even yet of your values. That's why sometimes you will see that some of our elected officials will have local forums, local meetings. Make sure that you go and participate. You can hear what's going on. You can express your concern, and then in turn they'll know what to go back and represent you with in their legislative meetings. So it's important that we communicate. So a lack of communication will lead to assumption. Yes, it'll lead to assumption, and assumptions are often negative, and assumptions are not always true because they don't lead to truth and value. So let's make sure that we meet with them and let's communicate to them. Let them know what your interests are. Let them know what your likes and your dislikes are. Sometimes the information that we get are often twisted and miscued, and we make judgment off of poor information. So a lot of times we get mad at our elected officials off of bad information. So go and talk to them, meet with them, uh, find out why did they do what they did, or why did they do it in that particular manner, and just don't go by somebody else's agenda, because a lot of elected officials have personal agendas, which may not necessarily be according to your liking, according to your agenda. So make sure that you keep that line of communication with them so that you'll know specifically why they did what they did. If that was something that represents you, if that's something that's working together for your good. Yes, we may wonder why they put the red light over there and not one over here. So you can get mad at where they placed it, but you didn't get an understanding of why they placed it where they placed it. So make sure that you communicate with them, and you will find out that they did. So if you skip that primary election, you're actually letting a tiny fraction of the community to pick and to choose on your behalf. In other words, yeah, this is our primary election. Yeah, this is your important election. This is your important, this is where you make your voice heard during this election. So today is election day. So don't let this day go by if you have not voted. So make sure that you vote. Make sure that you vote. My wife and I, we early vote. We try to go out and vote early. One, to beat the crowd, and two, to beat the deadline, so that we can go head on and express our desire by early voting. And early voting can be done simply by going to the supervisor election voting or going to. It's over. Yeah, it's over now. But in the future, just remember, you can go to those places. But today, you have to go to your polling places. Make sure you know where your individual polling places are, which are located throughout your neighborhoods. So your polling places are pretty much based in your particular neighborhood. And you could go there. If you go to the wrong one, they can tell you and redirect you to the right one where you should be. But make sure you go with a valid ID. Yes. Yes. Make sure you go with the valid idea that you go to the right place. Before 7. Yeah, before 7 o'clock. 7 p.m. is your deadline. Go before 7. Don't be trying to rush in at the last minute. I believe that most employers, most from my experience in employment workplace, they will give you permission to go and vote. And make sure that you do that. Go vote and don't go run around town doing everything else. But you got to do that before 7 o'clock p.m. because that's the deadline. One of the most frustrating things that I can say is if you're trying to rush at the deadline, you're trying to force people to do things that they're really not able to do. In the same sense, just as people try to come, they try to come to my pharmacy at 7 o'clock. I'm gonna tell them they close. We close. We've been there all 10 hours that they've had to come there, but they will close. So they're gonna have to come back tomorrow. Well, we're voting. You can't come back tomorrow. This is your final time. So make sure that you go out and make sure you exercise your constitutional right. This is what our forefathers, this is what our ancestors, even yet some of our civil rights workers have died for us to have the right to vote, for us to make our voices heard. So if you can, do that. Exercise your right. Even from some of you all that may have had some type of criminal record, they have even yet provided that you can get your voting rights restored. And once your voting rights restored, exercise the right that you have to vote. You hear me? Exercise your right that you have to vote. So voting is important. Voting is important. So let's make sure that we do that.
Remember that identification.
Yeah, to your identification.
The Social Security card.
Yeah, not a Social Security card. I was just reading this morning that TSA have problems with people showing up in the TSA line trying to check into a flight with Social Security cards or birth certificates. Those are not valid identification. You have to have a picture identification that is current and up to date. Is what they refer to in Florida. When you get your driver's license, they create what they call a real ID, which has a hologram image of your picture on that driver's license that qualifies and show that your information on that is correct. It has your signature, it has your picture on it. So in the same sense, when you go to vote, don't go with your driver's license. Don't go with no light bill or
driver's license.
I'm sorry. Go with the driver's license. Don't go with your birth certificate or social security card. That's not. You're going to be turned away. You have to have a real ID. You have to have a real ID. So let's make sure that we do that. A Florida driver's license, a passport, and make sure that these items are up to date. Make sure that they're current. A state ID card, which has your picture on it. It looks just like a driver's license, or a military ID, which also has your picture. Or if you don't have a photo ID, make sure that you have with your signature on it. Make sure that you also comes with a secondary, that you have a secondary card that does have your signature, such as a debit or credit card that has your signature, your name, and information on it. So make sure that you do that because we want your voice to be heard. We want your voice to be heard. We want your voice to be heard. That's our democratic process. And as we said, if you're not sure who to vote for, uh, go. You can go to the supervisor election office 6-5 and make sure that you get uh, the information on each candidate and what they're standing for and what they're believing in and what their agenda and what their purpose is. So you don't have to go into the ballot box uninformed or without any knowledge or without any understanding. And so make sure that you do that. And as we said, this is our primary election. This is our primary election. And you want to be able to have your candidate representing and showing up even yet for this primary election. So I appreciate each of you. Tallahassee is a great community, and we get a chance even yet to express our opinions and our choices even yet in this local election by being able to vote. So let's make sure that we get out and vote and that we do what we have been allowed to do. So we want to thank you all just for hearing us. But today,
Miss Tallahassee.
yeah, today as we continue the real talk with Judy in this final, one of our candidates for office, our guests that are giving our community a flat-footed look at why she is running. She's going to give us her vision and her strategies for the first 100 days in office. Our guest today is Miss Talethia Edwards.
All right.
And she's running for City Commission seat 3.
Yes, sir.
And we want to welcome her to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show.
Thank you for having me, pastors, today. I'm so sorry. I'm running late, but it's election day.
That's okay.
That's okay.
We appreciate you came.
Yes, sir.
You showed up, and that's the importance. You want to make sure that you elect someone that shows up for you.
That's right. That's right.
So a lot of them don't necessarily show up.
Right. Excuses.
But you showed up. Yeah. We're not going to say what excuses mean, but a lot of people. So we are excited to have you on the show today. You've been working actually for the people of Tallahassee in our community for years.
Yes, sir.
You have actually been, let's say, foot on the ground, your feet on the ground. And so many people have gone before the city commissioner, and for the commissioners, you've been right there with them, helping and assisting during the whole time. You've been speaking for the people of the bond community as well as those around. And that's another good thing that I can appreciate about some of my candidates. They're not just saying that I'm gonna represent your community, but they're actually living in their
Oh,
community.
that's right. I've been living there
You know,
for
so
21 years.
yeah, so they are actually been serving already. So give the listeners and the viewing audience a brief synopsis about you.
Sure. So I came to Tallahassee 25 years ago, first generation college student from Miami, Florida. And, just like everybody else, you think you're going to come, get your degree, and move on, right? I was headed to DC to go to law school, and I met a handsome, tall, dark fella on FAMU's campus. And that's here to do it, right? It stuck me right here like that magnet, but we raised our children. We bought our home in the Bond community over 20 years ago. And my work has started on my block in my neighborhood. It has expanded throughout Tallahassee, right? Working at every level, of an advocate as you can. I went back and got my master's degree in urban planning from Florida State. Sometime after leading my neighborhood with residents through the neighborhood first plan, where we got $6.4 million. And so, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, that's part of who I am, right? 8 children. I have 8 kids, so I can be busy enough, right, without doing this. But all honesty, I really love this place, right? I've been an organizer on the ground. I've lent my voice to policy change, and now I'm asking the people to allow me in the seat to create the policy, because that is where our cities and our residents become more resilient, and we're able to sustain the work.
Good. There are a total of 6 qualified candidates that are seeking City Commission seat 3 in Tallahassee, and you're the only female.
Only female. I've been holding it down for us, ladies.
So why are you running for that seat?
Yeah, so an open seat became a opportunity. There was going to be an open seat. I never thought I would run. I want to say that very clearly. I was very comfortable with supporting candidates, and again, lending my voice to those who are in the seat, to help them lead better. But I went to the Yale campaign school, and I was sitting there and I heard a lecture. They talked about, sometimes you have to be willing to put action to what the belief is, right? And not that I wasn't working, but you got to put yourself in a physical sometimes sacrifice. And so I knew that this seat would be open, which was a great opportunity not to talk about an incumbent or what they had not done, but to talk about the vision and what it looks like to move Tallahassee forward. So I saw that the win would be in the run, right? The conversations, the people we met. And so here we are today, a year later after filing. And it is election day. And so I do believe that Tallahassee is doing some great things, but I think we have an opportunity, as so many big things have happened in this last year. Our future is going to need some change and some thought leaders, some people that can bring us all together and make magic happen.
That's I know I'm not supposed to really talk. I have laryngitis, but I got to ask this question, so forgive me.
That's okay.
But Talethia, I was sitting, and number one, was so happy that I'm so glad to have you here. I watched you years work hard, midnight hours, middle of the midnight hour. That's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I think a person brought a baby on your step, seen you work. But I saw something else. I mean, I already admire you to the utmost, but I saw something else happen. We were at a forum at Watson Temple. I think it was the first forum, I believe.
Yes.
And they went to attack one of the candidates. And you adamantly refused to do so. And not only that, you said, this is not the way we're going to do this. And it showed me your heart deeply. But you could have eaten him up,
right,
or allowed the conversation to continue,
right,
but you did not.
No.
Tell us your heart. And yet you run a clean campaign. I love it. But tell us your heart, because a lot of you are wasn't there. But I think that is the epitome of who we want on that commission, who I would like to see in that commission seat, and other people.
Right.
Speak to your heart about that.
Yeah, that day. I always want to do what's right, and that just was not right. And what I really believe in the way I've led my campaign, the way I plan to lead, is that there was a loaded question in the room of a few people who had knowledge of the thing that was brought up. And we were told ahead of time we were about to talk about the advancement of the Black community. In that moment, that question, regardless if that come to any individual on there on that podium that day, was not about. It's not why I got in this race. I didn't get in the race to attack anybody else. I didn't get it. I got in a race to talk about the things that's gonna move this community forward. And that was a distraction for me. That would have put me in my own self-serving place, right? And I literally was just gonna be silent, and they forced me to answer, and so I had to answer and give voice to what is right. That is the way I plan to lead. That is the way I have been leading, by bringing voices in the room, by speaking truth to power, by saying what is uncomfortable for everybody to say. I know that we have to create ourselves into these candidates and politicians, and I'm kind of struggling with that because I'm organized. I'm an advocate. I can do that well, right? I'm community center, but I'm not gonna fight another person to get ahead. My mama taught me that what's for you is for you, what's not is not, and that's the race. That's the way I've been running. Tonight, at the end of the day, if the Lord see fit that I'm the winner, guess what? I'm gonna be the winner. If God see fit for something else, the work continues. It is so much to do, and so I didn't see that. I saw that would have just clouded even more our race, and I didn't want to be a part of that.
Good. Yeah. With that being said, that just made me think about something. I'll ask your opinion about this. Not just respect for the ones you serve, but do you see it's important that you have respect for your fellow commissioners?
Definitely. Oh, I think that is number one, right? When you think about it, I call myself a coalition builder. You gotta have thick skin. You gotta deal with the day, like let the day be the day. And we brush that off and we get ready to do the work the next day. You heard me say I have 8 children, and I teach my kids we're umbrellas, right? We're one name, one body. That's the same way I would feel sitting on that dais with the other 4 individuals, that we need to cover each other. This city, we are championing. We are the voices that people are paying attention to. We're representing 205,000 people, but we are the elected choice to be the voices, and we should govern as a body over the people. When we don't do that, we begin to see these fractures and dissent in the community, and it just bleeds over. And that's not good for any of us, right? Like, I have been at the airport, I travel a lot, I hear people like, I don't want to come to Talethia. Y'all don't like each other. Right? Like, that's not good news when you think about moving the city forward and where we want to grow, all of the opportunities that we have. So it is imperative that I'm able to work with everybody up there, to able to respect them whether I agree or disagree. And that is, I think that's a human, treat me how you want to be treated. Right? That's a simple goal. When I can't think of anything else to do, treat people how you want to be treated. And if I wouldn't want to be treated like that, that's kind of how I live my life. My children are watching me, and I know that people may think it's small, but it's a big thing to me. I've raised them with certain values, certain morals. I've taught them certain things, and so I'm gonna walk that out every day, whether you agree with that or not, because they're gonna regurgitate that back to me. But I thought you said. So it's no exceptions to the values and the things that I'm instilling in them, and I want to model that not only for my own children, but for this community, to see that you can say what you need to say and be respectful. You can make good decisions even if people don't always agree. But I can tell you why I made that decision, right? That's a part of the trust building that needs to happen.
Good. So you see in essence that the people are more important than your agenda.
Oh yeah, always. The collective is the important thing. When you think about the city, I think sometimes we get too much into personality politics, right? And who I am and what kind of antics or what are the things I'm pushing if you paid attention to my platform, I haven't talked a lot about big, broad Talethia O's visions, right? We're going into a city commission where this government has been running for 200 years. And while a lot of things happened 200 years ago, I'm not referencing that. What I'm saying is this is a system, it is an institution. I want to come in and add the innovation and the value and the I have for the way I think the city needs to go in collaboration with the work that is happening. Those who are sitting up there, all of them have been up there for 8+ years, right? Moving this city forward. And whether I agree or disagree with some of the things that they've done, we're coming into an institution. So where are we effective? Where are we ineffective? What are our success metrics? Do they work for us? What does implementation of this policy on the ground look like? And so those are the conversations I want to have. What is our vision? What are we handing over to our children? I just dropped off my 4th child to his dorm for college. And what are we handing them, right? Are we handing them a city and a government and an economy that is healthy, that they can stay here, they can raise families, and it can love them like it loved us? So I'm thinking about those things, and I think that this is the time and my responsibility to help create a Tallahassee that we all are proud of.
Yeah. So you mentioned the word vision. So what is your vision for Tallahassee?
Yeah, my slogan is all voices, one vision. I think I've collected some pieces of that vision along the way and the work I've done and over the decade that I've done work in this community. And of course, it's affordability, right? People want to be able to live, work, play here. Not just affordable housing, but can I live in the city because I make enough money to live in the city? Can I enjoy and have exposure? Because that's another thing in survival is just paying the rent, right? But can I live, right? So economic opportunity. Can I grow a business, start a business, plan a business in this community? Do people see Tallahassee as business friendly and wanted to bring those high wage paying jobs? Where are those opportunities? Where the land is zoned? How can we make our utilities better, right? And quality of life. Like, I like that I live in Tallahassee. I feel I belong here. In several different communities, however you would like to say it, I feel I belong here. But when we talk about a 3-time All-American city, not everybody feels like that, right? So what is that quality of life our communities are looking for? And I mean across this city. Furthest north of North Monroe, furthest south of South Monroe. What do people need here as residents? I'm looking to create a vision alongside the people. And I'm describing it as a rainbow, Pastor. So I think that's a perfect analogy of a vision, right? A rainbow has different colors, red, blue, orange, green. And so you may fit in any color, but what is the rainbow of Tallahassee that we're all agreeing on, that we moving in the same direction, right? And that's the thing that I would love for us to begin to talk about.
Yeah. So with that expression of a rainbow, we all have our different uniqueness, right? But how do you see we can still stay connected?
Yeah, I think diversity is the key, right? Like that's the thing I love about Tallahassee. So we are one big old 850, but we are a city of neighborhoods. And those neighborhoods all have its own individual characteristics and nuances and types of folks. And I think that is a beautiful thing when you think about Tallahassee as a city of neighborhoods, but that when we come out of our own little ponds with our own little ducklings, the big lake is Tallahassee, and we already want the same thing, right? We want to be safe. We want our children to be able to have opportunity in things. We want to be able to retire and be able to live. That's what we want. And so when I think about the uniqueness of this place, those who are in arts and culture, those who care about the homeless, the ones who working on affordable housing, it is all pieces together is what make this one great big whole. And that is why when the slogan "All Voices, One Vision" came, it's the first thing I had before I knew anything about running. The first thing I heard, all voices, one vision. And I think that's exactly the way we will develop the vision with everybody in that diversity, which makes us very unique.
Good. So what would your focus the first 100 days be like?
First 100 days. Okay, so I've been thinking about this, y'all. I don't know if we're doing first 100 days after August 18th, because I'm planning to take it all day, or November 16th when we get sworn in. I think the first thing I will do is meet with all of the other candidates that ran in this race. I believe that there are a group, we do span the vastness of this community. And so to hear, if we all wanted to run this city and run for this seat, there are some ideas that are great that they have. And because I'm believing this to be the people's seat, we should be the first ones to decide or to talk about at least, what are we going to do? Next, I want to meet with all, the department heads and city staff to understand, how things going, by which we, where we succeeded, where we needed help, right? What has been done, what is on the agenda, so that when we come in office, because there still will be a overlap of commission. What are the things that are still going? Filling my calendar with community events. I've really been thinking about this. So meeting with the other forms of government. I don't know. I got a whole lot of ideas. Yeah. So those are just the coalition cross-sector things that I think, because I believe that the city is a convener. It has the ability to convene conversations of things that need to move the city forward. And because I understand and believe in systems, we're all interconnected, city, county, our school board, all of that. Where are the lines that we're connected and we're not having those conversations? So beginning to see those things, those are visions that I have that I think we can do better.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think that it's first, let me put it this way, as a doable option, that our commissioners can have their own individual forum before they come before the people? And the reason why I say that is because when they come before the people, look like they divided. But if they all can come with one voice, even if their opinions may not necessarily be the same but at least they have already come to the conclusion that we're going to move our community forward, even though it may not necessarily be how I want it to be. Right. Do you think it's important that they communicate with each other? Because to me, it looks like they don't communicate with each other.
I know we have sunshine, and so they aren't supposed to talk about agenda items. But again, I think that family style get-togethers, like I'm going old school, right? A little breaking bread always breaks tension, and I think it's important as a body when you're leading a city with a $1.2 billion budget, 205,000 people, that you are able to have space and share space outside of the public forum, right? Because you have no mutual respect for me if you don't know really what's going on with me. I haven't sat and heard about your mother or your child or what your current thing. Even if I'm not telling you my deepest secrets, I think it's important to show yourself friendly, one, outside of commission, like in social places where allowable, so that you get to kind of know this. I'm disagreeing with his brother today, but I know what his mama name is, right? I know his childhood dog's name. And again, that's where the civility begins. I think that the commission can also host those forums. They can suspend. They have a right. Robert's rules gives an allowance that you can suspend a commission session and to go into a community forum. So I think that is a great tool in a way when things begin to get contentious and it look like we are not going to represent the body as well as we need to, that we suspend that all business and we go in the forum so that somebody begin to take notes. Let's hear from the audience. Let's begin to put this on record. And again, commission will do what it needs to do ultimately. But again, that is the speed of trust, right? And I think we can utilize tools like that so that we aren't, you aren't catching sound bites of us, just coming at each other.
Yeah, but that's important because I think that respect for the individual is most important than anything else. Even though I don't represent your seat, but at least I'm gonna respect you in your seat.
Right.
And I think that that's a big issue. So with that, and moving forward, I think it's important that we recognize that we all have different opinions. Nothing wrong with that. That expresses our diversity.
That's right.
But at the same time, I respect you with your particular leadership, even though I may not necessarily agree with everything that you're doing, but at least I'm respecting you because that's your opinion.
That's right.
So everyone allowed to have their own opinion, but at the same time, respect me for my opinion.
That's right.
And and we can work together for agreeable solution. So even with that, um, let me ask you this: how would you or how do you handle conflict?
Okay, let's talk about it. It's different kind of conflict, superintendent. But no, I'm able to handle conflict. I'm not gonna say that there aren't things that can really get up under my skin, right? I'm human. That is a natural thing. But I'm a good listener, and so I think it pairs well to be a good listener, so that you diffuse your own thoughts, because most times conflict is because we've conceived the thing or we've perceived the thing, and we are now, those thoughts are in conflict with what you're saying, right? Mm-hmm. And so over the course of this campaign, I've had to learn how to do that a lot. And then so I've learned even more before now how I would handle conflict versus how I handle conflict today. Like the conflict is first internal, and that's normally what comes out. And so the lesson I've learned is to sit still and be quiet sometimes. Answers and things come out if you don't open your mouth, right? And so I think that that's an important number one. First is to be a good listener, and then two is just be still so that you can see how things play out, and then add your words to that. Because if it ain't gonna help, it's only hurting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a lot of times when you involve yourself the wrong way in conflict, my personal philosophy is I don't argue with a fool.
Yeah, right. Because they ain't gonna tell the difference.
Somebody else see you, they not gonna know who the fool is.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I let them shine by themselves.
That's right.
So it's important, that we learn how to have the respect for the individual, respect for the other person, and be able to represent properly and represent fairly that way. So we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're representing, what you're standing for.
Yes,
so with that, just give us some idea of what is your values. What is really valuable to you? What values do you express?
Yeah, my faith is my first and greatest value. My family. And I really value trust and transparency. I think that that's an important thing. My word is my bond, right? All I got is my word, really. But if you can't trust my word, then my actions mean nothing, right? So faith is what has led me through everything, right? When you run it, you got to balance all that. But in all honesty, that is my number one drive. I pray about everything. I'm literally here because I pray, and I'm like, God, you keep asking me to do hard things, but I trust and I have faith that those hard things are for my good. My family is my first priority. I don't mince words or make any concessions about that. That is my first ministry, my first service. If my family life is out of line, it is very difficult for me to do this work. And so I have to keep that priority. I do realize things are shifting as we get more responsibility. The kids are growing up and I can't control their calendars. But family remains, number one. And you've heard my words and my honesty has gotten me in trouble a lot of times. But the thing about it is that you can run from a lie. Okay? I mean, you can't run from a lie. You can stand firm on the truth. However the saying goes. But you can stand firm on the truth. If I know it's true and I said it, I'm going to say it. I can say it again. It's going to be the same thing because it's the truth. And I think that is a super important thing. And y'all can count on that for me. You can count on me telling the truth. You can count on me being honest, right? I'm learning not to overshare because you become a public servant. But I'm an honest person, and I try to be. I try to be as honest and as transparent as I can. And that's a value for me. I really want people to give that back to me as well.
Good. So why should voters trust you with city commission?
Right. Okay, voters, let me tell y'all. Number one, It's been a lot going on today. I'm trying to keep everything so high. But voters should trust, number one, that I've been in this community, not only just here for school. I've raised my family. I'm raising my family. I'm working. I'm serving our human service area as a nonprofit executive. I'm an urban planner. I understand how cities are built. I legitimately went to school so that I can put the on the ground practical work with the technical work to understand how to make our communities more resilient and sustainable. I have real results even without being elected across sectors in this community: housing, mental health, economic development. You name it. There hasn't been a space in this community, early childhood education, that I have not served and had results. And so think about there's no one else in my race that can say that they have real proven results, tangible results, whether it be financial or results on the end. And so I ask people not to just give me a chance to be a new leader, but to let what I've done speak for me and only know every round goes higher. And so I'm hoping if you have not voted, go vote today. Polls close at 7. Oh yes,
Yeah. So what's your message to the people on election day?
Yeah, my message is that voting is critical. I would love for you all to vote for me. Hope you have voted for me. But this process of the democratic process of voting is super important. I'm 43. I've never missed an election. And I vote on election day. I know everybody vote early, but that's because I'm a generation with the hanging chad, right? So I vote on election day. But this is so important, this process. We understand more and more that policy is what is driving what we see. So we're looking at individuals, but it's the policy. Are we making good policy that then implements on the ground the change and the results that the people want to see? And I think that we need to begin to understand that. No, not me as one commissioner can I do anything alone. It takes 3 or more of us to do it, but that the body of people you elect are important to the way things move and how you see life really transition and grow. So, get somebody who's already been doing that, and let's do it together on the next level.
Well, Ms. Talethia, we want to thank you so much for being our guest today.
Yes.
So I want to invite your audience to join me tonight in Bible study with our teacher, our amazing anointed praise and worship leader, Evangelist Danette McBride is our teacher. So we want to invite you, even yet this Sunday, for our Sunday school at 10 o'clock. And then again with our Sunday morning worship at 11 a.m. Sunday of great glory and honor unto our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So listeners, look at me, lend me your ear. Your voice, your vote is your power. So don't leave your power sitting on the table for someone else to pick up. Dr. Judy's personal charge to your heart today is look at your children, look at your grandbabies, look around your neighborhood. They cannot walk in that booth today, but you can. So I'm asking you from the absolute bottom of my heart, do not let this day pass by you. Do not let your business, your fatigue, or your doubt steal your strength. Polls close at 7 p.m. So you have until 7 p.m. To go and cast your vote at your designated neighborhood polling place. Put on your shoes, grab your ID, call a friend, take a neighbor with you, and go make your voice heard. So let's stand flat-footed, lock arms across this county, and protect the canopy of our community together. Step into your power and cast your ballot, and let's occupy our greatness today, because our children and our future are worth every single step. Remember, polls are open and they're closing at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Bring your valid photo ID, your signature ID, such as your Florida's driver's license or your passport, and vote. Vote at your assigned neighborhood precinct, because that's the only real talk we are standing for today, voting. Amen. God bless you. Don't let your power sit on the table. Don't let it sit on the table. Yes, that is real talk.
Real talk.
Amen.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy